Well, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, so I'm actually going to start with football one. As a Texan in particular, we've seen the league start to recognize Juneteenth more. Teams celebrating it, the league celebrating it. You know, a lot of us growing up didn't really learn about it. As somebody from Texas and a black man, what does it mean to you that this is becoming more recognized?
I mean, I think it's really important. I mean, I definitely think it should be a national holiday. You know what I mean? I think as a nation, I mean, we gotta tell the truth. You know what I mean? I think for us, especially down south, you know what I mean, that was a big time for us as black people. So I've always celebrated this. My mom and my brother's birthday, but we always had big parades in my hometown, and I mean they always kind of gave it the attention it deserved. So for me, you know, what I mean, it's been really special, and it's kind of cool, you know, what I mean, that people are finally getting on the wave and understanding like what it really means to us as black people. So I really think it should be a national holiday, and I mean, tell the truth. Let people know, you know what I mean? That's when we were really freed, and that's when we were really able, you know what I mean, to have the rights that other people had. So I definitely think it's very important.
Thank you.
Jen Mueller.
Shifting back to football, Quandre, you're a veteran. You've been around the league a long time. But what is having these workouts and these practices do just to kind of help everybody come together?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's also dope. You know what I mean? You get to see the guys that, I mean, you get to see how guys are putting in work this off season. You know what I mean? You come back and you can see guys are slim. You see guys that's been working their tail off, and you can tell, you know what I mean, that guys have been putting their work in and not been BSing with the time. So we can ask for all this time off, but you got to be getting your work in while you're doing it. And I think that's what's the most important thing for me. You know what I mean? I'm year 7, you know what I mean? So for me, running around in t-shirts and helmet, I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? You guys know, like, I like to play physical. I like to do all that and go get interceptions. But at this time, you can't do that. So for me, it's just getting around the guys understanding my leadership and, you know, seeing what type of shape guys in. So I think that's what's the most important thing for me in this time.
Corbin.
Hey, Quandre, you and I actually kind of talked about this a little bit on social media, but Pro Football Focus did not include you in the top 32 safeties for this year. And I guess my big question for you is, what do you think is the biggest misconception that some of these outlets have when they're evaluating the safety position as far as your responsibilities and the job at the position?
I mean, I think when the media get behind certain guys and start telling these I wouldn't say lies, but start feeding this crap about, you know, guys being playmakers, guys doing this. And, you know, I mean, when you get the media back, and I mean, I've been in Detroit. I mean, so of course I wasn't going to get hella media out there. And, you know, I come to a great team here and I have some success, and, you know, I become a Pro Bowler, and, you know, my companion to the next side of me is an All-Pro. And of course he's going to get the attention. He's a superstar, you know what I mean? So, and I'm fine with that. I mean, me and him, our relationship super tight, but if you get the media back and behind you, I mean, you can go out there and miss tackles, and you can go out there and give up deep balls, and, you know what I mean, they still going to qualify you as one of the better safeties in the league, you know what I mean? So all I know is I go out, nobody runs the alley like me, nobody creates turnovers and things like I do. I mean, it's been, what I think you said it the other day, I think it might be 4 of the guys with more interceptions than me in the last 3 or 4 years. So I think I'm doing pretty well on my end. So I mean, I don't hate on guys, but I watch everybody's favorite players around the league, and I know who's the better safeties in the league.
Greg Bell.
Hello, sir. What's your level of care that your partner in safety is not in camp here?
0. I mean, I know what he's doing. I mean, I know he's working. I know he's getting the best shape, and I know he's going to be ready to go when he get here. You know what I mean? That's my brother, and I'm going to support him regardless. And I know the type of person he is. I know he has no selfishness about him or anything like that. It's you know what I mean, it's getting worked out, and things are gonna be worked out, and he'll be here. You know what I mean? So I don't have any concern. I talk to him every day, so no concern on my end.
Joe.
Do you expect him at the beginning of training camp?
I mean, I can't speak for another man. I mean, you know what I mean? You guys will see when training camp get here. How y'all know I'm going to be here for training camp? You don't know. You know what I mean? You don't know if Pete going to be here for training camp. We all might not come the first day. What about that?
All right, I'll miss that too. Thank you.
Joe Fan.
Hey, Quandre, how important is it to be a leader with a young cornerback group? And then what do you? I know it's early in your shorts and t-shirts, but what do you make of the guys you have at that spot?
I mean, it's dope. I mean, I'm the old head in the room. You know what I mean? I'm year 7, but I mean, I feel like I've been an old soul my whole life anyway, so ain't nothing changed for me. But I mean, Joe, I only been here Thursday, Friday, and today, so you know what I mean? I don't know what guys been doing all the time, you know what I mean? So I like guys' attention to detail. I like the guys that come out here competing, and even though we can't intercept and break passes up and things like that, I just love that, you know what I mean, guys are here, they're doing what they're supposed to do, and I think we got a fun group, and I think it'll be real good for us.
Is your leadership style more of I'm always here if you need me, or more proactive than that of like, hey, if I see something, I'm going to tell you and be kind of in your ear about it?
Oh, I'm a little bit of both. You know what I mean? I think my teammates can contest to this. I'm probably like the jokester leader. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a cap a joke. Like, if somebody get burnt, I'm going to try to teach them, but I'm like, you got toasted right there. I'm going to let you know. You know what I mean? But it's all in love, and I mean, as you get to know me, you know, like it's not really seriousness behind it. I'm not trying to embarrass you. I'm just trying to get my point across in the way that I think is the best way for me to get it across.
Michael Sean.
Hey, what's up, Quandre? How's it going?
Good. You all right?
I'm doing good. Is there a sense among everyone else in the locker room too that they kind of understand what Jamal is doing and how he's handling just the business side of the game right now?
I mean, how y'all know is a business aspect to it. I mean, you know what I mean? We don't know what's going on. I mean, I do, but how do you guys know? You know what I mean? So, I mean, I feel like we should just gotta let everything play out. You know what I mean? Everybody's situation is different. His situation is different than mine, and my situation is different than his, and it's so on down the road. You know what I mean? So, just let it play out. And I mean, like I said, I support my brother. I mean, he's gonna be. I mean, every year he's top 2, top 3 safeties in the league. So for him, I know he's putting in that work, and we talk. Like I said, we talk every day. Everything will be smooth.
When you were watching Puna when he was at Texas, did he stand out to you, and if so, why?
I mean, he stood out as a young guy. You know what I mean? The way he worked, his work ethic. He was one of my favorite freshmen. I mean, all the time. You can ask him. I always mess with him. When I was a senior, he was a freshman. I always messed with him because I seen like the super long arms, and he had those like underdog mentalities. You know what I mean? He's 5'10", 5'11", playing D tackle, and everybody doubted him. He didn't have the big offers, and he was committed to Louisville. Coach Strong left Louisville. He committed to Texas. So like, I always appreciated that about him, that he came in, he worked, and he did what he was supposed to do.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Masvita.
Quandre, I'm wondering if you could talk. You keep talking about year 7. I'm wondering if you could talk about from what does year 7 mean for you on and off the.
I would say for me, year 7. I mean, I know a lot of guys say this. Like, I heard Chris Paul say, like, I'm not even supposed to be here. Chris Paul was top 5 pick. You know what I mean? Me, I was round 6 pick 200. You know what I mean? I wasn't supposed to be a Pro Bowler. I mean, I wasn't supposed to be going on year 7 in the league. You know what I mean? I wasn't supposed to be starting for the Seattle Seahawks, knowing that the history of the defensive back room here. You know what I mean? So for me, it's different than a lot of guys. You know what I mean? Like, my brother was the 5th pick, and I was picked 200. So for me, it's a milestone in my own right. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna always throw that out there. You know what I mean? I'm always gonna throw out stuff like that. But I mean, it's an accomplishment, and I'm blessed. You know what I mean? But I want even more. So for me, I think it's always just like, I want to work, and I want to get to be the best player I can be. And going into year 7, I'm in my prime. So I just want to be the best player I can be, and I want this to be my best year yet.
Bob.
And
Yeah, Quandre, just curious your thoughts on the vaccine, and if you think there's any reluctance among players, or if you think it's going to be easy for the team, for the NFL to sort of achieve the numbers that they want to achieve, for everything to go smoothly the way they want it to during the regular season.
I mean, to each his own. You know what I mean? I'm not getting in any politics, anything like that. You know what I mean? Whatever guys choose to do, that's what they do. I'm not here to be political. I'm not into that. So if you want to get the vaccine, get it. If you don't, you don't. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter to me. I mean, as long as you protecting me and my family, and I'm protecting me and my family, I mean, that's all I care about.
Last question, Art.
Just to follow up, Andre, did you get the vaccine, and if so, why?
I mean, all right. I mean, that's my business. You know what I mean? I don't go around asking people did they get the vaccine or did they not get the vaccine. I mean, that's not. I mean, that's not for the world to know. The world knows all my contracts and stuff like that. So, hopefully, I keep some secret about my life. But I mean, I think that's just me and my family and my team decisions.
Quandre, thank you.
Yep, no doubt.
Coach Carroll's up.
Yep.
Bob Condotta, Seattle Times.
Hey Pete, how you doing? We didn't see Jamal Adams out there. Obviously, what's his situation? Is any of this related to his contract, or is this solely sort of a personal thing? Or
yeah, he's got a family thing that he's working on that he needed to be there.
Also, there was a report that Dwayne Brown wants a new contract. Is there any validity to that, and is that any reason why he wasn't, I guess, on the field today at all? Or?
We're helping Dwayne get through a great offseason. He's doing terrific right now. We're just going to keep cruising on through it and make sure that he's at his very best. We're always talking about the business stuff, so that's always something that's topical, but because he is in his last year coming up. But everything's going great, and he's had a great offseason so far. Better than it was last year. He's ahead of schedule, so he's in good shape.
Michael Sean.
Hey, Pete, are these excused absences for Chris Carson and Aldon Smith?
Yep, Chris is working on bringing a baby into the world, and so he has to be there. And yes, our guys are excused.
And why did Travis practice today? Rashad, actually, let's do all three. Travis, Rashad, and D. Eskridge.
For all different reasons. Trav's still working on a calf, bringing that back, taking our time to make sure we get it back. It's bothered him a little bit in the off season. Rashad is working out, doing a ton of stuff, but not quite ready to be out to where he's reacting yet. He had a little work done, and so not quite ready yet. We should be fine for camp. Both those guys should be fine for camp, and Esker's got a big toe issue that's bothering him, and so we're just making sure that he doesn't overdo it early. We miss him out here. It's unfortunate he's not here. He needs this work with our guys, but we got to do the right thing and take care of him right now.
You say Rashad had work done on what?
On his knee. He had a little something cleaned up.
Same one as the ACL?
Corbin.
Marquise Blair's now returned to the field. How has he looked so far to you the last couple of weeks, and how important is his return to this defense playing to its potential this year?
Yeah, I think he's going to be a great addition. Just everything that we've seen from Keith has just been. He's tough, he's smart, he's fast, he's flexible, and that he can do a lot of things. We're really excited to have him back out. He's, I don't think he's 100% yet, just in terms of the whole comeback, but he's plenty good enough to be practicing and working, and he should really be able to make a difference. So what we saw of him from last year's camp, we were really fired up about his addition. He was going to play a ton, and he's stronger now than he was a year ago at this time, more physically fit in general. Really a high bar that we're shooting for with him, and really expecting him to be a big factor.
Brady.
Hey Pete, with Jamal, is there anything you can tell us about the state of the contract talks with Jamal?
Not really. It's been ongoing, and been amicable throughout. We recognize that he's a fantastic football player, and we're in the midst of it's a big contract process. But I know he knows he's been treated with a lot of respect, and he's been very respectful towards the club as well. They've been good talks, and just hasn't been able to get settled at this point. But it's coming. We expect him for camp, and everything should be fine.
Okay. And then we know he had the couple surgeries, shoulder and fingers. If he were here, would he even be able to practice right now?
I don't think he'd be working out here right now. Fingers are on the mend. It takes a long time for those to be right, and we'd be very careful there. And then the shoulder, so we would be very careful with him at this time. So he would be involved, but he'd be in the walkthrough kind of stuff, but he couldn't get the full speed work yet.
Okay, thanks.
John Boyle.
Yeah, Pete. Will Dissly the last 2 years he wouldn't have been out here. He'd be rehabbing big injuries.
Yeah.
What have you noticed in him being healthy and having a full off season?
He's stronger. He's quicker. The difference between that is just night and day. From the years past, where he was just barely getting back, just barely getting into camp, ready for the camp mode. He is in full swing right now and looks great, man. I know he's really upbeat, really excited about that because he feels so much better than he did in the last couple of years. He's been in rehab for over 2 years. What's up?
Just letting everybody know we're still friends,
Hey.
Just messing
there
with
you. Get out of here. You had your press conference.
Joe Fan.
Just to clarify, you said that you expect the deal to be done with Jamal Adams before camp.
Say that again. Please.
That's your expectation, is that the deal will be done with Jamal before camp.
I don't know that, but I know that we're counting on him being back at camp, and he wants to be at camp too, and so we're going to do everything to make that happen.
Rashad, are you concerned at this point that maybe this is a pivotal year for him to kind of prove it and show you guys that he's capable of being part of your program?
Every year is important, and this one is for him for sure. As much time as he missed last year, sometimes he had a serious knee injury. It just takes a whole nother year to get back, and so just the cleanup stuff and what he's ready to take on right now. He can run full speed. We just want to make sure that his strength is balanced out in his quads, and so there's no reason for us to take a chance right now where he gets in a bad situation. So his attitude's great, his mentality's great, and yeah, it is for every guy. Every year is ridiculously important to us, and of value and all of that, and certainly it is for Rashad.
Greg Bell.
Hello, sir. Most people, and maybe even the team, thought this might be Dwayne Brown's last contract. 14 years, gets 36 this summer. So he's obviously given you indications he wants to stay here and play beyond 2021. And how is this a departure? Is this something that just came up?
No. He's a remarkable player and a remarkable athlete, and it takes great care of himself, and has given himself to have an extended career beyond where most guys can make it. And we love him. He's a big part of what we're doing, and we're counting on him being with us. We'll look down the road together, and we'll see what's the right thing to do coming up. He's just been a great part of our program, and his leadership, his toughness, what he stands for as a man. He's just a remarkable guy. So we would love for him to be with us. If he wants to keep playing, we want him to keep playing.
And on the vaccines, can you tell us what it's like? Is life still inside the building pandemic, and then what do you expect during training camp is for those who haven't been vaccinated? Did they go 2020 mode, or how's that going to work?
Yeah, well, okay, here's what I can tell you. We're kind of right in the pack of the teams. We're a couple numbers away from being in the top echelon of having as many guys as anybody in the league. So we're in pretty good shape right now. There's a couple crucial weeks coming up. The next 2 weeks, I think it's 2 weeks from Friday. 2 weeks from Friday, I believe it is, will be kind of the time to hit if you're going to be a two-shot routine guy, then you got to start the process if you're going to make it by camp. And our guys are aware of that. There are a lot of guys that haven't been vaccinated that just want to wait as long as they can to get all the information that they can, which they deserve to do. It does feel it feels much more open now than it did last year. We feel the guys are just more comfortable with so many guys being vaccinated and all the staff being vaccinated and all of that. You can see, it's like you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and it's a good feeling. We're just trying to pull our guys along with us, as many as we can, to make it as safe as possible. And the situation that guys face is that if a guy who is not vaccinated gets exposed to somebody, you know, and whether they get it or not, but if they get exposed, they're going to get quarantined. And so, whereas a guy who is vaccinated that gets exposed is not. So an unvaccinated player could lose playtime and could lose access to the team, you know, and so that's an issue that they have to deal with as you know, as they make their final choices here on how they handle it. There'll be some restrictions that you know, there'll be few restrictions for the guys that are vaccinated when we travel, meeting people on the road, freedom here around the building to, you know, the access to the minimal amount of testing that you have to do and all of that. So, you know, there's reasons going that are real positive. If it's a good feeling for the guys that are vaccinated, they know that they're just about feeling like it's normal. And but we still have some aspects of, you know, where we have to stay apart and we got to wear masks and things like that, which everybody seems to be really in tune with. It's not a problem. So I'm just hoping that we can get the majority of our guys done just so that they'll be safe. But it's an individual choice that people have to make.
Art?
Anything else about that?
Pete, following up on the vaccine thing, it's been out there now for several months. Are you surprised that there are still this much resistance in the NFL generally, and with your club in particular, to either the information or the willingness to participate in the vaccination?
No, I don't know how accurate this would be, but I think we're probably pretty close to what the national numbers are. You know, I think we're a microcosm of a group of people that, you know, it isn't 100%, you know, sales pitch that's gone on here. That everybody's in on it. Not everybody is, and in particular parts of the country, it's much different than others. You know, our area in particular, particularly Seattle, is doing an incredible job of you know, complying with the issues right now and all that. So we're in a good environment here that surrounds us. But you know, it's going to work its way out. I do believe we have a number of our leaders, you know, that have made the decision to get vaccinated and all. I think that's important for the guys that are a little bit on the fence and still waiting for, you know, to feel good about it. We'll see what happens, but it's going to work itself out.
Tim?
Pete, because of his surgeries in the offseason, what has Jamal been able to do in terms of what a normal offseason work would be for him? And then with that, do you anticipate that should he show up for training camp on time, that he'll be able to go at the start of training camp?
Let me step back from that for a second and come back to Jamal. I've been thrilled at the condition level that our guys have shown up with. It's, you know, it's just the coach's concern that you guys, you know, maybe they're not getting the good work, maybe they're not getting as much as they need, they're not getting pushed as much as you would like them to. If we could be there to make sure that happened, you know, we would prefer that. Our guys showed up in incredible shape. I mean, they across the board, every position. We got one guy that's a little bit heavy, but he's working his tail off. You can't tell. It has nothing to do with his conditioning level. I mean, it's a fantastic statement that our guys have made, that they have been committed. And I give credit to the leadership of this team that set the message out. Look, if this is the deal. You know, we're gonna stay away from some of the off-season program. Make sure that you're right and you're ready. And that message has been heard and responded to. So in that regard, I'm not worried at all about the 6 weeks coming up. I have been in the past, you know, after all of our work and then they break away. But I've seen the work our guys are willing to do when they have been basically on their own or in their small groups. So that's the first message that comes across. Don't worry about our guys. Our guys are ready to roll. They look great out here. And I'll say that they beat my expectations. They because it's across the board, it's 100%. As far as Jamal is concerned, he is working really hard. He's in terrific condition. He should be ready to rock and roll at camp time. There's, you know, the intricacy of your fingers. You know, that's something we got to make sure that he gets that right. And that there's a lot going on there. But his shoulder should be in great shape. So I'm not concerned at all that he won't be ready.
Did the fingers end up being more troubling, I guess, surgery to have to get through than the shoulder?
I don't know if I can answer accurately on that, but just having work done in my own history, the fingers they're so delicate when in trying to get everything lined up and get it all back and strong and get the stiffness out and all that. It's a process, and so he's doing a marvelous job, and we're not worried about it at all. It just takes some time to get it right, and it's so easy to screw that up, and ball boinks off your hand, or you jam it into a shoulder or something like that. We just got to be really careful. So he's not gonna get himself hurt in this camp, that's for sure.
Curtis?
Yeah, Pete, what stood out to you about the rookies in the month that you've had them here? Is there anything that kind of you've learned about a guy in particular, something that's made an impression on you?
Well, first off, the focus of work that these guys have received. I mean, if you try to, you can't. There's not even any comparison to where our rookie class was last year. They had none. Our guys, because of the numbers that were available to us, these guys got quality work, and they're up with our football. They're way beyond where they've ever been before. They've had just so many turns, and they've been great at taking advantage of the opportunity. So right now that we're giving more work to the older guys, and then the additional work we give to the young guys afterwards is to keep them fresh with their stuff. But they've made great progress, and so this is by far the best prepared rookie group we've had, because they've just had more attention and focus, and they've been the whole deal for a good part of this offseason. So credit to them, and it'll give them a great chance in terms of competing. In terms of special guys, I've been really impressed with Stone Forsyth. His work that he's done to get caught up and to bring it. He had a great experience in college. He played 3 years at Florida in a great level of competition, and has been a starting left tackle against a lot of really good players, and it shows. And his focus, attention to detail is on it. The early work that we saw with Dwayne Eskridge before his toe got banged up, it really kind of flared up. He looks totally legit to be a competitive aspect of this team. I don't have any question. His strength in his hands, his catching range, his explosiveness is really fast. And he had no trouble with any of the transitional stuff. They did not run as sophisticated a passing game as we have here, and so we didn't see stuff. But it wasn't because he couldn't run them. They just didn't ask their guys to run the stuff. He can do everything. So I'm really excited to see him go. His mentality has been strong. So that's a real positive. And then really Trey has done a nice job too. Picked things up, looks the part. Has been real serious about the competitive part of every aspect of it. Johnny Radigan's done a nice job too. Kid came from Army. He's done a nice job calling the shots for the young guys and as a Mike linebacker, and has been impressive so far in his ability to handle stuff. He's obviously got great leadership qualities about him, and really smart kid. So it's a really good group. I mean, those are some of the guys.
Real quick, what stood out to you about Robert Kimdiche since you've got him in here as he's trying to get back into this?
He's got a really good spirit about him. He's upbeat, active. He's explosive and has really good quickness. He's over 300 pounds. And he moves really well. He's going to be a real competitive part of this group, and he's a little different than some of the other guys. And so we see some flexibility in where we can play him and move him around. And I'm hoping for his sake, because he's been out of football for a bit. I'm hoping for his sake that everything just keeps moving along, because he is applying himself. His mentality is like has a second chance on his football life, and he knows that, which is really important, and he's trying to seize every opportunity, and he's been a real not a surprise as much as just we're really happy to have him as part of this thing. We think he's going to be a factor.
Last question, Joe Fan.
You guys went out and got Gerald this offseason. Obviously, Will's been here a long time. Both those guys healthy, and you expect to be a part in the mix. But how does Colby Parkinson fit into this? How does he look this year compared to last? Because we just never got to see a whole lot of him last year.
Yeah, Joe, this is a really strong group for us. Will being healthy now, now we know he's going to have a great shot at having a hell of a camp and be able to do his stuff. Will can do everything. He can catch the football. He can run with it after, and he's our best online blocker. So he kind of sets it. That's kind of the stability of the position. Gerald brings some factors that we have not had here before, and his route running ability, his speed, his if you watch his stuff, his run after catch is excellent. He's a very, very aggressive runner with the football, which is really exciting. Catching and running, he can get the ball in his hands and he'll make things happen. And he's been a really active, willing blocker in our scheme, as we've seen in the Rams program. So he's just an incredibly exciting addition. Because of the flexibility, you can line him up out of the backfield. He can be in the slot. He can be outside. All of that stuff. He's got wide receiver ability as a tight end. So that's a real positive for us, and I'm really pumped about that. He knows everything. He knows the offense too. So he's just been really pleasantly, just a great addition. Colby is going to be a factor. There's nothing to keep him from being a factor. He's at 6'7". He's got a target that's just obviously unique. But he's got great hands. He's a natural catcher. His catching range is normal as it can be. He can use it all. Gets off the ground well too when he has to. He's a really bright player. He's picked stuff up. He is, because of the time he missed on the field with us, he really dove into the strength program, and he just pumped up, and he's better now than he was at the end when he became active with us at the end of the year. So those three guys are really, really exciting for us. There's flexibility in the guys. They can all run and catch with the football. I'm really pumped about that position, and I know Russell's jacked about it. He's got different types of targets, and we like to do stuff with the guys that they do that's unique to them, and that's what we're working out right now with them. We're developing that.
Thank you, everyone. Uncle Will's next.
Well, I think it might be the first time in a couple of years that you had a healthy off-season to train and prepare for a season. How did that make a difference, and what was the biggest difference that made for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's night and day. We were just talking with my strength coach here, Danny Van Dyke, about, I just hopped on a jump rope and was able to do single leg jump rope, for the first time in, start of June in a long time. So my legs are feeling great. We worked really hard on getting asymmetry back, so both legs are feeling equally strong, and it's translating to route running and getting off the line and blocking ability, and I'm just really excited to keep continuing. There's a lot of time left, a lot of time to chase and get better, and get prepared for this big season we're about to have.
Joe fan.
Will asked Pete a couple times last year if there was kind of anything maybe limiting you just that lingered from the injury to where you were your normal self. He said no, but I'm curious from you, was there something that you felt where you weren't yourself, and now maybe you do feel like a different person going into this year?
Yeah, I wouldn't have stepped on the field if I didn't think I was ready to play. And honestly, both season I felt like I was ready to go, and was fortunate to go through all last season healthy and play 16 games. But I think there was something missing for sure, and I think a lot of it is the coordination. I think, when I'm learning to run again with a new Achilles and a new knee, it takes a lot of time to get that trust in your knee back. And we did a great job running and cutting and feeling good, but there is a coordination aspect to this game that people don't understand, turning your body, making, tough catches. And so all that has kind of come into fruition, running routes this season and catching, unique throws and different running drills and footwork drills and getting off the line. And I guess maybe I didn't realize what all that took last year, and so we're excited to put that into play this year.
Bob?
Well, it looked like you worked out a lot with Russell this offseason. I was curious how those went, and if you ever were worried, one of these days, on one of those mornings, you're going to show up and he was suddenly being traded to Chicago or something like that. But just kind of curious what that was all like this offseason.
Yeah, you guys kept this offseason interesting with that guy. No, it was great. It was great to get down with Russ. We were able to get, Gerald and Colby and some other tight ends down there and get to work. That's just valuable time in this offseason. It's nice to get that individual attention. I think, one thing with this OTA is there's a lot going on, and we're getting a lot of great reps with the team and stuff, but it's a great time to get with Russ and connect and see how he sees the routes and see what he wants it to look like and get that timing and that feel. And it also just spend quality time. This is a team that is built off relationships, and there's a big bond that's being built, and it's going to be a big run. And it's going to start with 3, and it's going to continue with us in the tight end room making plays for him.
John Boyle.
Yeah, well, in addition to just the football stuff, just how much more enjoyable is an off season when you're healthy and can, get your workout in, but then maybe have a little of your own time versus just constant rehab the last 2 years.
Yeah, no, definitely grateful. Go on hikes and play catch with my nieces and nephews and go for hikes and play some golf. It's been really nice. Don't take it for granted any day, and rehab's 24 hours every day of the week kind of thing. I'm still not done working on myself, and honestly, it's just kind of like the ghost of the past. I'm always thinking about it and making sure that I'm doing everything I can to prepare and not take any days off.
Michael Sean.
Hey, Will, how would you describe Shane's new offense?
First word would probably be smart that comes to my mind. Everything is fitting really, really well. It's systematic and up-tempo, and I'm really loving, just being a part of the newness, the new energy, and the new concepts, and the new relationships that Shane has brought, and Andy's come in with a new energy, and but I'm liking it. I'm excited to see what we can do. I mean, obviously we have some tremendous players on our offensive side of the ball, and we were able to be explosive with Shoddy, and he's a tremendous football mind, and I think Shane is just picking up where he left off, and we're just going to start rolling with some newness and just be incredibly smart out there on the football field.
Thanks.
Jen.
Hey, we'll go back to that offensive question. Where are the similarities between what we have seen the Seahawks run the last couple of years, and then where has he introduced the most newness?
Yeah. I mean, I think I would be remiss to say that we're not going to run the football. That's kind of my go-to and my passion. And, Pete Carroll obviously preaches to you guys quite a bit that we're going to run the football. And so there's a lot of carryover in that. We take a tremendous amount of pride in coming out and being dominant on the run game. But there is some newness. There is some of that Shane offense that you guys will see. I don't want to give anything away for the newness that you guys will see on Sundays, but you're going to see a lot more style, a lot more explosiveness, and maybe some quick game here or there that you might not have seen in the previous past. But we're just going to take what the defense gives us and go and try and put as many points on the board as we can.
Brady.
Hi, Will. What all can you guys do with the up-tempo stuff?
Yeah, I think it mitigates what the defenses can do. In this league, everyone is super smart, and defense are getting so creative in the way to, rush the passer and, create new blitzes. And so what it's going to do is going to put them on their heels a little bit. They're not going to be able to change into dime or nickel. They're going to have to match when we go 12 personnel and stay base on the field and have to go cover 5 wide. So I think with the up-tempo, you're going to see a lot of unique packages that are going to put defenses in a tough spot and be able to operate, kind of their, newness, maybe, I guess, in like base personnels that they're not comfortable operating with. So I'm excited to put the defense on their heels is all, and obviously we know what we're doing, so we'll just go as fast as we can.
And very important follow-up here. How's your golf game? What's the best round you shot this offseason, and where was it?
Yeah, golf game is still getting better. Probably could put a few more rounds, a few more lessons together to break that 80 mark, but we're hovering right around there. I just got a few more swing tips, a couple more YouTube videos, and I'll have it down.
Gotcha. I saw you working with Keith Bennett at some point this offseason.
Yeah, that was a big one. He helped a ton up there in Newcastle. Just one session with him was awesome. He's got a tremendous mind. It was kind of nice. I threw shot put in high school and was able to kind of, go back to those technique days of watching film and correcting your swing. And I just love being outside, going golfing, hanging out with my friends. So, and it's really relaxing in the off season.
Thank you. I'll stop there. I have more, but I'll stop there.
Yeah, we could talk golf all day. Trust me.
Joe.
Yeah, Brady took my question. I was just going to ask if you were dialed for the next 6 weeks when you're off.
Yeah, no, Keith was awesome, man. We got really dialed in within the 100 yards, and it's just a fun way to keep competing. I think everyone, like, in the off season, we kind of get bored not competing. So golf is a fun way. I'm not saying I'm up to Michael Jordan standard gambling wise, but it's a good way to put a little pressure on yourself and get into that, competitor mindset and that game time mindset and go execute. So I love golf. I mean, I'm addicted to it, just like probably most 20-year-olds are. And so if anyone ever wants a match, go ahead and hit me up. We'll play anytime.
Will, thank you.
All right, cheers, guys. Go Hawks.
Thanks, everyone.